Mr. Kirby, why do you think your artwork is so popular?
My artwork is popular because it connects with the ordinary person and they can understand it very easily.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I just like to port. Oh, goodness gracious. I've already started. Can't even speak. I just like to show my art. That's about it. No drama whatsoever. And I've also posted links to the Marvel fan page below with these stories. Kind of gives you plot synopsis and characters, origins, and stuff like that. So that's important because I'm just going to be showing you these issues. I'm not really going to be talking about them. So let's just kind of start and then we'll talk as we are showing this. So we're going to show you 4 issues. 205, 206, 207, and 208. Written and drawn by Jack Kirby. This was Captain America and the Falcon from 1976. So this was done after Jack Kirby returned from DC Comics. I have already covered, I believe, 12 issues of his run. I think we started with 190. I forgot where I started, but I have covered them already. So I always gonna say these in all the Jack Kirby videos that I show. I appreciate his what his contributions. I know he has inspired a lot of the people that I love, like artists that I love, like Walter Simonson and John Byrne. I appreciate his layouts, how he lays out action. I do, however, am not a big Kirby guy. So I got these issues. I actually have the trade paperback, to all of them for the Captain America. I got them off. My daughter works at a used bookstore, so she gets everything for half of the price. So I got these and I tried reading it. I just could not get into it. Just not my cup of tea. So my problem with Jack Kirby and what I don't like. So if you take a look at some of these, everybody, it just looks so stiff to me. Now, art is subjective. I'm not telling you you have to hate it. I'm not telling you you don't have to like it. Like I said, his art does look stiff, but I do appreciate, like I said, the layouts. I know that he also is a huge inspiration to Bruce Timm from Batman the Animated Series. He's an inspiration to a lot of the artists that I love and like. So I appreciate that he inspired a lot of the people that I like, even though I'm not a big Kirby fan. So I just can't get into it. But I'm going to go back real quick here. Look at this pose. I love it. I think he is I think he is dynamic. This pose is great. I mean, you look at this, he's speeding through. Just very it looks great. I think this is a great. So he does a lot of really great stuff. And so I think this panel here is really good. The composition, so his panel composition, his panel layouts, his action, his beats, he does a really good job. But again, it just, to me, it's just the stiffness. But like I said before, like I've said in every video of his that I've covered, so I love, look at this. This is dynamic. And this is the stuff that when you look at, you go, oh my goodness gracious. because not very many people were doing this. You know, you see a lot of shots of just talking heads, and he doesn't do that. So I like that. You know, everybody here with their, looking, gasping, here with Captain America as well. Just great stuff. You know, grabbing Captain America, throwing him over here. You know, here putting, the cars coming to him, the underneath the car. Goodness. So he does some really good stuff. But like I said, that rigidness, stiffness, it just doesn't work for me. Also, to me, when you look at the artists that I grew up with, so as I mentioned before, Walter Simonson, John Byrne, and then that leads into Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri. Those are the people that I gravitated towards. And when you grow up, I was so I was born in '74, and during my teenage years, it was McFarlane on Spider-Man. It was Jim Lee on the X-Men. Mark Silvestri was on the X-Men, but then he went to Wolverine. And then Jim Lee took over. So we, I love current artists. It's just very difficult because when I tell people I just don't care for Jack Kirby, they all like, oh goodness gracious, and it's just not my cup of tea. The art just doesn't work for me. But I can still appreciate what he has done. I am a huge fan, like I said, of Walt Simonson. And Walt Simonson does, if you look at his art, I don't know. It's very difficult because some people would say Walt Simonson is a Jack Kirby clone, but he really isn't. I love Chris Samney is one of my absolutely one that I love, and he uses a big thick brush. He's also inspired by Jack Kirby, so I like a lot of people that he inspired. So as I say, I appreciate that, and I like the fact that he was there to inspire some of my favorites. I know a lot of people in the comments when I do the Jack Kirby, they tell me how much they like him, and I'm glad you guys enjoy him, and I'm glad you guys like his work. I definitely, I do these videos, and I like to show people different things, and it's not everything, not everything has to be something that I absolutely adore or love. And again, look at this panel. Look at this dynamic. He punches him and just boom. I mean, you don't see very. Just you look at that. That's really cool. You can see her trying to get away. So Jack Kirby is a master composer, definitely. So. Yeah, I don't even know what this story is about. I really don't. I have never. There's 2 trade paperbacks that cover his Captain America run. So I got both of those. One of the other things about him is where he spots the black. Sometimes he just spots, and I know that he's not his own inker, but he directs. I've seen his pencils. And how he pencils. He does tight pencils, so he's definitely showing where the ink is, and it just doesn't quite look. I don't know, just different. Because I like other artists that perhaps other people would say, well, if you like this one, why don't you like Kirby? For example, I love Bill Sienkiewicz. Um, Absolutely wonderful. His New Mutants, his Moon Knight, um, the Daredevil that he did with Frank Miller, Love and War, Electra Assassin. You know, it's like I said, art is subjective. It's just everybody reacts to something different. So, 2 issues left on this video. My goal will be to eventually cover his entire Captain America run, at least so you guys can see it. Feel free, as I mentioned before, to go into that Marvel fan page that I have the link to below, where these stories are, and you can look at the plot synopsis, so you can see at least what's going on. So the dude definitely knew how to compose an image. So he had returned to DC, and he did, I believe, Eternals, and he did Captain America. He wanted to do things himself. So he didn't want a writer, and I don't blame him. He probably had, with working with Stan Lee, wasn't exactly, everybody has nostalgia, but we all know what Stan Lee was like. We've seen plenty of reports. So Kirby I don't blame Kirby for him not wanting a writer, for him wanting to write himself and create himself. So definitely. Eric Larson, if you like Eric Larson, who does the Savage Dragon, huge influence on Jack Kirby. A very modern take, but the hands, the dude is really, the older he gets, the more like Jack Kirby he seems to draw. So if you've ever seen his work doing the Savage Dragon, definitely. So it looks like these people are imprisoned in there. So I I gather. I have to tell you, so when I got these books, I didn't pay very much for them. And that's part of the reason I got them, is I was like, well, they're pretty cheap. I mean, you can get Captain America 200 for like $20 or less, depending. And I, like I said, tried reading it, but I just ended up just studying the art. Even though, like I said, it's not my style, you can still learn from stuff, even if you are not a big, even if the art doesn't appeal. For example, and this will be the last issue, Pablo Picasso and his cubism. Not my cup of tea. Jackson Pollock with his, throwing whatever paint on a thing, and just not my cup of tea. There's a lot of famous painters out there that I just don't care too much for, but you can still look at something of theirs and use something to inspire. Not everything that people that there's something you can learn from everybody. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And definitely what I did is I looked at these books and just kind of practiced composition, how he does certain things. I love his composition. Imagine if Todd McFarlane, for example, imagine if Todd McFarlane drew this but used these compositions. That would just be amazing. Now, I love Todd McFarlane's compositions. He does certain things similar to Kirby, and he does the panels, but I mean that's pretty cool. Jim Lee also, imagine this, but Jim Lee drawing. I mean, so the dude can compose a page, the dude can compose a scene. So great panel here. Great. I like this. It's showing him how he kicked off. Just very powerful. So yeah. So if you guys are, these Jack Kirby videos that I do well. A lot of people like it, so I'm glad you guys do. Um, I'm glad people view these videos and want to watch them and want to see because. And like I said, I think it's some of the nostalgia because no matter what, Jack Kirby just kept drawing the same, even in the '70s. He just kept that same style. So and so we should be nearing the end of this issue shortly here. I mean, great stuff showing the dead guy or knocked off guy. I don't know if he's dead or not, but so it's good. Little awkward, but that's okay. Those Kirby monsters. So if you like Jack Kirby, I would suggest Tom Scioli. He's got a YouTube channel, Total Recall Show, I believe it's called, and he does a lot of Jack Kirby. He's a huge Kirby guy, so give that a look. So, all right, so we are going to end it here. So this was Captain America 205 through 208 from 1976, and I believe 208 was in 1977 that it came out. So like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.